In my opinion, it was not fair that my dad, a super fan of the Atlanta Braves, died in 1991 before he got to see them win the pennant and the World Series. I think it's unfair. Or was it? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Humble Word Program. My name is Anthony, and this is the second video of 2026, and we're going to follow up on the program that we had just yesterday. And if you are new to this program, this is just a Bible study. This is just a time that we spend with the Lord, and I'm trying to just unpack, read Scripture and explain it the best that I can. As a former pastor, maybe pastor again, who knows, of 14 years, a doctorate in ministry, written a couple of books, done all kinds of stuff like that, missions and teaching and everything. But I'm still learning. I've forgotten a whole lot, and so life is a constant refresher. And so I'm going to learn and relearn and share with you, and I hope that you benefit from it. So pray for me as we do this, and if you'd like, hit the like button on these videos and subscribe, and that would just make me very happy and help, all right? So we're asking the question originally yesterday, why is life so unfair? It's a tough question. It's a good question. And as we mentioned yesterday or the day before, whichever one it was, it's not a question that is a bad question to ask. Even people in the Bible have asked this question. And so yesterday we covered the point that when we ask this question, why is life so unfair? We have to understand first off that we live in a fallen world. But secondly, we need to understand that you got to play by the right rule book. You've got to play by the rules that are written. And so when one person says something's fair, what playbook, what rule book are they determining that by? So how do you determine what is fair? Well, if you define the word fair, if you look it up, the definition means to be free from bias, dishonesty, or injustice. A fair decision, a fair judge. And then you have to determine which rule book then applies. Is it the Bible or something else? When we look at the world and we say, why is life so unfair? What are we judging the fair by? You see? Because if we do not have a standard, if we do not have a rule book that tells us if a play, if an action, talking baseball stuff here, if the out or the play, the catch or whatever was fair, if we don't have the rules, how do we know? How can we judge? On what basis, or what foundation do we base that call? Some people want to say they have their own rule book. Some people want to use a book from another religion or various religions. Some people don't want any rules. And when there's no rules, when there's no standard, how can you even say life is unfair? I mean, it's a silly question. There are no guidelines to say, hey, what you did wasn't right. What happened to me wasn't right. It wasn't fair. Well, who are you to decide that? And I think that what we really are attesting to when we say life is unfair is that we see that there is a right and a wrong. There's good and bad. There's good and evil, and we can tell that there is a difference between those things, and we have a sense, an idea of what is good and innocent and what is evil and unjust. And so when things happen, that fit within that framework, we intuitively know that there are some things that are unfair. I mentioned my dad. My dad was a really, really serious, long-time fan of the Atlanta Braves. I grew up, with him listening to the radio when the Braves were losing all the time. They could be ahead 11 runs and still lose the game. And so when they started winning, they eventually won the pennant in October of 1991. Well, guess when my dad died? June of 1991. He was just a few months short of seeing them win the pennant, and then later the World Series. And so when this happened, I had this desire, to cry out, foul. That was not fair. God, why did you do this? My dad served you. My dad loved you. This is one of those little things you could have let him see and then taken him. It just wasn't fair. What we do so often is that we blame God when the outcome is not what we desire. What we desire. But what we desire may not be what's best. And in the game of baseball, do you realize there are a lot of people that desire a whole lot? They invest in, their time, their money, their passions into a team. And they want that team to win. But not every team can win. So does that make it unfair that only one baseball team can be the national champion, the World Series? Is that fair or unfair? Well, according to the rule book, it's absolutely fair, and that's the way it's designed. So when we think about life, if we're playing by the right rule book, we will be able to see how that sometimes things happen that are out of our control, that ultimately, or not ultimately, but in the immediate sense, it looks like it's unfair. But when we dig into the rules and we look at how everything is to play out, we see that there is a righteous, holy, loving, just God who will not let these things come to pass without consequence. And a lot of times, when bad things happen, when somebody breaks the rules and it affects other people, somebody comes along, the judge, the ref, the team owner, whatever, and makes it right in other ways. And sometimes it can be better than if they just played and everything went the way they thought it was going to go. Well, we're going to get into another point. The next point is going to be the third, mainly the third, and maybe a little bit more, and talk about our limited perspective on things. And we'll wrap it up and get on to something else. But thank you for watching again. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your patience and for your prayers. And we'll see you in the next video right here on The Humble Word.